Ladies and gentlemen, Doc Leeser here, the podcasting beast from the East, with the Professor John Gotti, the king of RG, the troll master, the data analyzing ninja. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, the conqueror,
Best
Professor
podcasting
Omega,
machine,
the cleaner.
least hype machine. The wise man of your reigning, defending, undisputed, and that is undisputed podcasting champion of the world. Our tribal chief, the head of the table, the sultan of squat. Your hero in mind. Always tranquilo. Doc El Idolo. How you doing, man?
I got way too many nicknames now. I gotta hurry up and get you some more now. Oh my God, I'm doing all right. Man, I can't even call it. I
All right,
mean,
this is our penultimate episode for 2021.
agreed. Agreed. We got today, and then tomorrow, and then the next time you hear the sounds of our voice, it'll be 2022.
Yeah, but we'll save all that hoopla for tomorrow. Today, the QB index hit, and we're going to talk about it for the penultimate week of NFL regular season football as well. Have apropos.
Big apropos.
Doc, we really didn't have any movement for number one and number two. Still
Mm-mm.
top of the QB index. We have Mr. Discount double check himself, Aaron Rodgers, who's, I mean, he's getting the respect now. His team is winning. The defense is playing awesome too. He's only has 7 turnovers in the whole season. I mean,
Yeah.
geez.
No, huge, huge, huge.
So
Some
when
people
he
had
throws a pick, it's kind of a big deal.
agreed, agreed. I don't know. He's playing really great. Is it an MVP season? I think turnover wise, the lack of turnovers, I would say yes. I mean,
I think it's a yes overall, honestly.
I mean, if I'm being honest, and this is just me being honest,
Mm-hmm.
when you look at the next three guys and their numbers with just one extra game, not just like, you know, being 400 yards ahead of him, but, close to 1,800 yards, similar touchdown numbers. I mean, I don't know. That's where I think Jonathan Taylor should get it because I don't think Aaron Rodgers is really separating himself when you look at the numbers outside of the interceptions for the other quarterbacks pretty much in the top five. 35 touchdowns, 33 touchdowns. Brady has 37. Herbert has 33. Joe Burrows has 30. Josh Allen has 34. So 33 touchdowns isn't really separating him from the other quarterbacks, in my opinion.
I mean, and I understand where you're coming from. I think we got so used to how the NBA likes to gauge the MVP, even though they have no clue what the
Right,
bleep is an MVP anymore. That we're just
right,
looking at those. I think for me, I'm looking at quality of work overall. I mean, and of course, we still make the argument with Tom Brady. Of course, we both think that Jonathan Taylor should definitely be the MVP, but
right.
unfortunately, the MVP is still a quarterback award.
And I would say this also, and this is the other part. The Packers won without Aaron Rodgers. That's still. I mean, I forget who they beat, but I don't think it matters. They won a game without Aaron Rodgers. Um, I don't think the Colts are winning without
He also
Jonathan
won a
Taylor.
game without his top receivers too.
Yeah, but again, that's something that we've seen over and over. I mean, Tom Brady just won without his top receivers
No,
also.
and I know that. I only say that because they made such a big deal, and why everyone had the Cardinals winning that game, that he didn't have receivers, that he needed those receivers.
I don't think I don't think Aaron Rodgers or the Green Bay Packers need a receiver. That's why they don't draft him. That's why
This is
they don't
true.
draft him.
Much
But
to
Tom Brady
Packers
number
Nation, but
two.
Tom Brady number two, of course, another MVP candidate within his own right. Um, I mean, Corona Chan and injuries have been unfortunate to his weapons all season long. And of course, suspensions as well for the aforementioned Antonio Brown.
Mm-hmm.
But he's still putting up numbers. He's still getting TDs. I mean, 11 picks, but I mean, Doc talked about it before. Not all of them are his fault. There are some where
Yeah,
he throws some errant passes,
overthrows.
but
Yeah.
others it's tip drills or
Oh yeah.
the receivers not
And
going where they're supposed to go. I mean, it's really hard to fault a lot of these quarterbacks because he's not really trying to force it in all
now
the
we're talking
time.
about 11 interceptions where obviously when you look back at Jameis, not just the 30 for 30 year, but the 16 interceptions, the 18 interceptions, um, a lot of those were batted balls, but we're talking about some of them were really on Jameis. Some of them were not on Jameis.
Yep.
Um, so with
This is the
Tom,
first Doc is talking about this in like 2 years, folks. I'm just letting you know.
right. So with Tom, honestly, some of them are the routes not being ran to either the depth that they need to be ran, because
Hmm.
that's where it's like Tom is always like, "Hey, do your job." I mean, obviously, he throws a screen to Mike Evans one week and it pops up in the air for a pick six. I mean, there's nothing you can do. You
Yep.
know what I'm saying? But I don't know. There's the 44-year-old, numbers
Yeah,
being
I
thrown
mean,
back in there.
honestly, it really doesn't matter. 44-year-old, he's still playing elite, quarterback.
Yeah. I think he'll do 1 or 2 more years. I think I'm honestly thinking he's gonna do 23 years. He's gonna do the Michael Jordan thing, go 22, 23 years and call it, in
I
my
was
opinion.
okay. I saw what you did there. Number three,
Yeah,
we
and
have
Michael Jordan.
Justin Herbert. Trust in Justin Herbert. Again, his team lost. I mean, I don't think it's him.
Mhm,
It's not him. We keep saying their defense is suspect.
mhm.
I don't know what that throw was that sealed the game against the Texans. Like,
Yeah,
I'll probably more put it towards it was a Justin Herbert miscue.
yeah.
I don't
Or
know.
honestly, just like most quarterbacks, just trying to win the game. You try to win
Yeah.
the game on a
I feel
throw
like
and
that concept has always been a double-edged sword though when it comes to people talking about their ability to win games. Well, you're not being aggressive enough. Then when they become too aggressive, well, you're being too aggressive.
yeah.
There's no satisfying people. But Justin Herbert, the Chargers, they're playing really well. Justin Herbert's having an incredible season for him. For this to just be his second season, and of course we're going to get to number four as well too. They both have had incredible sophomore seasons, sophomore slumps. What?
Which I
Where?
told you that which I told you that they would always be linked within 1 or 2 slots of each other.
And now
Uh,
they're back to back. Yeah, yeah. Two corner
I
phrase.
agree.
And number four, we have Joe Burrow. I mean,
I
Kitty goes
mean,
me out. Their defense is playing great. Their offense, when it decides to play, plays amazing. This was a hello, we are here game for the Bengals against the Ravens. They
and I like what he
stomped
said.
them.
I like what he said. He said, when asked about, I guess, pouring it on,
Hmm.
he said, "Well, they did it to us last year.
They did.
This is Pee Wee. This isn't high school. This is not
Nope.
college. This is the NFL.
Yep.
If you don't like it, then stop it." And then that sounds like something that
Cam
we heard
said.
from Cam. You heard
Cam
the
said
same thing
exactly
from
that.
you heard the same thing from New England. Back in the day.
Well,
Um,
and it's that, and plus we've seen the Ravens come back. So
yes.
so for the reporter to ask that question, knowing what the Ravens have done this season alone, come on, I have to look at that reporter sideways. Like, and then if the Ravens come back, well, how did you allow the Ravens to come back in this game? Again, it comes back to
Yeah.
that double-edged sword thing. Like you can't have it both ways. Like Their
No,
job out
I
there is to win. And if it just so happened that they poured it on, then, you know, like the great Ivan Drago once said, if they die, they die.
no, I hear you.
Speaking of not dying, number 5, Josh Allen.
Josh Allen back. He struggled for a couple of weeks.
He did. He did. Again, I didn't look at it as him. It was always their offensive line and it was their defense. I mean, granted, the game that everyone's talking about, the game where are you embarrassed that they only threw the ball 5 times and you still lost game?
Right, right,
No, it was 3 times. Sorry, 3 times. But it was never Josh Allen. Now, while I don't like the fact that he is running so much, like,
right.
him having to run through tackles, I have a problem with that.
Yeah. No,
Especially if
absolutely.
it's getting deeper in the season and y'all trying to make a Super Bowl run, like
Right.
that's gonna hurt you in the long run. But he's still putting out monster numbers. He's still, and it's not just him to Diggs, kind of like how it was towards like week 3, week 4 of the season. It's him to McKenzie. It's him to Sanders. It's him to Knox, who's now his favorite target as well. Like
Right.
he's spreading the ball out,
Oh, I agree. I
and he
agree.
is straight up throwing dimes.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, he's running all over the place. He's passing all over the place. I mean, you got to give him a lot of credit for the
Hmm.
things that he's able to do. And they're still in it. I mean, before he had his short stumble,
Yeah,
um, he, I mean, he was an MVP candidate.
he was. He
Yeah,
was
I mean, yeah, I mean, but here we are. They're battling now,
to clinch
and
the AFC East. We'll get to that in a second.
but number 6 here, the guy who really stumbled this season, Patrick Mahomes, but still
And
managed to,
again, it wasn't him. It was just the team stumbled. Like it wasn't just him. The whole team stumbled out of the gate. The expectation was, oh, they're going to go to a third straight Super Bowl. And then when they slid in the first 4 games, you know, going 1-3, people said, oh, the Chiefs are done. They're washed. You heard them say that, Doc. We heard
yeah.
them. And we both said, just wait. Just wait.
I don't
Because
know.
I
I didn't know.
know
I mean, there was a lot going on.
there was a lot going on, but they also had a very young offensive line. And similar to what Doc said last year with the Bucks offensive line,
Right.
it takes a few weeks
It does.
for them to create that chemistry. And it happened around what, week 7-ish, maybe this year for the Chiefs, that the offensive
Yeah.
line started to play a lot better, and it reflected in how they was able to win games.
No, I agree. I agree.
Doc has
Um,
mentioned over and over again how important the offensive line is in football. Your quarterback could be the greatest ever, but if he don't have an offensive line to help him to at least give him a few seconds to be able to throw that ball, he ain't throwing the ball.
I agree. And the Chiefs did a great job, um, you know, putting this offensive line together. 2 rookies, obviously, and they traded for 1 lineman,
Hmm.
picked up another in free agency, pretty much shuffled their whole offensive line because of, what happened in the Super Bowl. Um, and it's it's looking good. Will
Yeah,
they be able to go far into the playoffs? We'll have to wait and see.
we have to wait and see, but they are a very dangerous team heading into the playoffs. Though they have clinched their division as well too, so they are guaranteed to be in there.
Yeah. Now the number 7, Kyler Murray. I mean, he's falling at the wrong time. The
Hmm.
Cardinals are struggling at the wrong time. I mean, it's tough. Very very tough. I don't know. What
It's
the bleep
so
is
hard to
going
look
on.
so strong at the start of the season, but it hurts
Yeah.
so much to to stumble into the playoffs. You do not want to stumble into the playoffs, especially if you're the
Yeah.
Cardinals, especially if you're Cliff Kingsbury. To stumble again into the playoffs.
I don't know, man. It's so crazy.
All
It's
I
so
could think
crazy.
of is like the one play that defined their stumble is the intentional grounding safety,
Mm,
like against the Colts. Like that was the definitive moment of yeah, something really bad is going on.
yeah. And this is kind of what happened last season, like
Hmm.
it was like, hey, here we are. We got this, you know, playoff championship run, and Doc Leesner is like, I need Kyler Murray to play well, and then he doesn't.
Nope,
You know what I'm saying? I need him to play well, and then he freaking Montreal's me.
that's
Um,
not good. Number 8
yeah,
dropping 3 slots, and Kyle dropped 4 by the way. Dropping 3 slots at number 8, we have Matthew Stafford again.
right.
Offense, awesome. Defense, elite. But Matthew Stafford, I don't know. I don't know. I think it was some type of PTSD from playing with the Lions and getting so close to the big dance, and suddenly he's throwing, multiple picks a game, and it's been that's going to be this team's kryptonite, whether or not he wants to play like Matthew Stafford at the start of the season, where he looked like an MVP candidate within its own right, or playing like Matthew Stafford of old, who, played for a really bad franchise with a really bad front office that didn't give him the help that he needs. And he's trying to, you know, throw bombs out there in an empty field that's leading the turnovers for the opposing defense. But I mean, he still has Cooper Cup. He has OBJ, who again we kept talking about them creating that chemistry within each other, and it's been working out so well. Their run game has been improving. It's just a matter of whether or not Matthew Stafford is actually going to become that elite passer into the playoffs, and we have to wait and see as we're going through these last 2 weeks of the regular season. But he's thrown 4,300 yards, 36 passing TDs, but 13 interceptions. I think he threw like 6 interceptions within the last 2 weeks alone. And that is a cause of concern. It's a huge cause of concern, especially if you're a Rams fan. You don't want that to happen. But let's go to number 9. Number 9, we have Dak Prescott. Again, he's still giving us great fantasy numbers like I predicted at the beginning of the season. I never said he was going to be the top QB in the league. I just said that he's going to be one of the best in the fantasy. Uh,
True.
but the Cowboys offense finally decided to show up with the defense. And it was against the Washington football team that was there? Question mark, question mark. I mean, they was more they'd rather be petty by bringing their own bleachers to Arlington than caring about winning this game. And
But you know what?
outside of one like stiff tackle to Dalton Schultz, that was the only thing that they did well in this game. But Dak Prescott is slightly getting hot. We have to see how the rest of their schedule goes. Of course, they have the Cardinals and the Eagles. The Eagles are a very dangerous team, a team that they don't want to lose to, especially they don't want to face in the first round of the playoffs at all. But we have to see how they close it out. Cowboy Nation is throwing adulations all around, but it's only one game. That's it.
Right.
Only one
No,
game. The last three
absolutely.
weeks prior to this Sunday night game, the offense was not playing very well. And just because they had one monster game against the team that essentially ready to throw in the white flag for the
And punches.
season
And punches
and punches, well, to each other,
to each other. Oh, what a
Like, this
dysfunctional
is
team.
not a huge bout of confidence. Let's see it happen in 2 weeks. Let's see if that can emulate the same success next week.
Agreed. Number 10 here we got Derek Carr. Oh, how apropos. Number 10 here we got Derek Carr. Um, I feel bad for Derek Carr. I mean, what a season this has been for the
It's
Raiders.
been a roller coaster.
Las Vegas has not been kind to the Raiders at all so far,
Nope.
nor have the Raiders been kind to Las Vegas. They look like a brand new franchise, like a team that's like starting from scratch. And unfortunately, I believe that they're going to have to start from scratch with the quarterback. I don't think that Derek Carr is going to be their quarterback
Which is
either after
crazy
the,
because he is one of the reasons why they're still in the playoff race.
you
Like,
know,
that's the part that's crazy. Like, when Gruden
I
was
don't,
still there, I could accept that statement because he didn't like Carr as
yeah,
much. But now
which
that he's
stinks
not
because
there anymore,
yeah, I
this
don't
should
know.
still not become a hot take. This
This
hot
is an
take should
intriguing
be stone cold dead, Doc.
this is an intriguing opportunity for a new head coach to come into. If they, and that would be their decision whether they decide to
Of
keep
course.
Derek Carr or not, of course. But having Josh Jacobs, obviously you have the whole Henry Ruggs situation. So that's a first round pick thrown out the window. I think they lost a corner also that was a previous first round pick. So it might be an opportunity for them, the ownership, the Davises, right? They say, you know what? We're gonna hit the reset button. What I mean, we're getting rid of everybody. You're going, you're going, you're going, and all y'all, out of
Out
here.
of here.
You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna start over. And it might take, bringing in, a guy, that you gave me a book for, right? A certain Lombardi, right? Or
Perhaps.
somebody of that nature to help in this head coaching search. You have some good people out there. Do you want to be offensively better? Do you want to be defensively better? We talked about some of the people that are out there.
Which is,
Honestly,
of course, apropos because they got rid of one of the best defenders in the league when Gruden first
right,
got there, too, which is even
right,
crazier.
which was a statement, and I understood. You had to make a statement, but I think
That
it,
was not the
you
statement you
know,
wanted to make.
yeah, like,
That
and
is not the statement you want.
don't get me wrong, Khalil Mack in Chicago has not lived up to the same hype as Khalil Mack in, I guess at that time, Oakland. I'll say that.
Outside of
I
his
don't
first
think
year with Chicago, but Chicago is wrong with Chicago.
right. I agree. He'll probably be better if he gets out of there, but
Yeah,
I don't
like
I don't know if he's
Chicago
getting out of there.
is screwing Chicago.
I would love for him to come to Tampa. But that's not what I was gonna say. I was gonna
That was
talk
exactly
about
what you wanted to say.
no. That's not where I wanted to go. I really wanted to go more with the coaching opportunity for the Raiders. Obviously, they're playing with the interim. I don't think he's going to get the nod. I mean, all due respect to him, but this would be a great opportunity for a young head coach to come in. Um, Maybe a Leftwich, heck, maybe even a Raheem Morris
Raheem
come
Morris
in
deserves
here.
another chance.
I think Raheem would be a good fit. A Dennis Allen, I think he might have had a run with the Raiders before. I think he did.
He did.
But somebody to come in and energize this team. Um, I
But you
don't
keep saying
think
someone young, and like it had me think of our story yesterday with Kellen Moore.
Kellen Moore. I could see him vibing with the Raiders. I could see him really getting a. I could see him doing good with the Raiders. I don't know. The problem is that the offense for the Cowboys has been so pedestrian, and they have great weapons. What I mean, like they have some really good weapons, and I don't think they've done it. But they have some questions. Zeke has been pedestrian. Dak, he's been up and down, but we'll have to wait and see. But it's just some notable others in the QB index here. Ryan Tannehill jumping back to number 12. Carson Wentz, although he's out, with COVID on the COVID list, is up to 13. Finally getting into the playoffs. A healthy season where he doesn't miss the playoffs, right? Hopefully.
Yeah.
Finally, he gets a chance. But interesting enough, although the Dolphins are playing well, Tua's still at number 19. But you know what? Johnny, I know that people heard this podcast on their favorite podcast platform, but if they didn't, they can always go to our website at www.debateamongstfriends.com to review this episode as well as all the previous. Be sure to tune in tomorrow as we go over the playoff clinching scenarios as well as our predictions for all of your weekend games. Tune in tomorrow for more news, more analysis, and the reads.
For the brand.